Well, my name's Leslie Barwick and I'm 53, and probably at the age of 51 I woke up one morning feeling so ill, as many mornings I've woken up, and decided I'm going to do something about it. There is something wrong, seriously wrong, and you can go to your doctors, you can go and they'll give you antibiotics. I became just disillusioned with the doctors, and I decided something has to be done. And I remember the morning I looked in the mirror and I thought, I'm 51, I look older than my mother, who's 83. My skin was white, my eyes, under my eyes were black, my actual colour of my eyes, instead of being white, just grey and yellow. There's nothing. I looked so ill that I started to put blue eye drops in my eyes to brighten them up. I started to go to the beauticians and wear thick makeup, and within hours of putting makeup on I was tired and exhausted. Sometimes I was so lifeless at 11 o'clock I felt like going back to bed. My tummy used to swell slightly when I used to eat wheat, so I went and thought, well, I'll have wheat. I'd go and have an allergy test, and that's where the whole thing started. Thank goodness I was guided to the right way. I had an allergy test, you've got wheat, allergy, then you've got a yeast problem, and then I think you've got a leaky gut problem, and then you should phone this person, that person, and at the end of the day I ended up being told I have mercury poisoning. And this would cause candida. I've had thrush for years and years, I've had migraine for years, I've had stiff necks for years. I've actually got a nerve problem and down my leg, trapped nerve, and that actually has been better since I've had the mercury removed. Most certainly my health and energy levels are hugely better. And so I ended up at a doctor in London telling me that I had mercury poisoning, and then he suggested that I came to you and had them removed, had all the mercury removed, and as he said, and you've said yourself, that eventually it would kill me. And I know it would, because I've had a leaky gut, I've got candida, I've got thrush, I had it in my mouth, I had it in my nose, migraines every day, literally every day, until I didn't have a life. And here I am, 18 months later, in a pretty strict diet for about 10 months. But not horrendous, lovely food, very nice food, but it's time consuming, it's quite an effort. But it's nice, it's good food, it's all vegetables, it's all organic, it's the best I could, staying off wheat, staying off dairy, and just, I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke anyway, and this is what made me laugh. My friends smoke and drink, and I looked 10 times worse than them, and I'm in the fresh air. You know, this is before I had the mercury removed, and for somebody that smokes, that doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, has a good lifestyle, why should I look so ill? My mother had more energy than I did. She'd carry my bags when we went shopping. And so, thank goodness, things are better for me now.
How much improvements you made compared to how you felt before you had the amalgam removed?
Oh, well, 100%, because I remember being on holiday in Florida, and I got up and I had breakfast. And I can't even think that the breakfast was bad for me. It was something reasonably healthy, you know, like a cereal or something. And I couldn't even get up from the table, I was that bad. My husband helped me and I staggered to the bed, and I laid on the bed, I couldn't even turn over. I was exhausted. Well, that's a thing of the past, total thing of the past.
You have loads of energy now, yeah?
Yes, yes, oh yes.
Mm-hmm. You told us you had thrush as well before.
Yes. And that has gone. The thrush has gone. I had an itchy bottom because I've obviously had parasites from the thrush and one thing or another. Yes, the thrush has gone. That's gone from my mouth. I never have this sort of stringy white stuff that used to get in my... I didn't know what it was. Mm. And when I went to the doctors and I said I had thrush, he'd give me antibiotics, which now I realise made things worse. And then I used to say to him, but antibiotics are going to give me thrush. And he said, I know, it will, but there's nothing else I can give you. And, you know, never mention it could be mercury poisoning.
Is there anything at all that would explain why you got the symptoms in the first place? Well, I mean, anything else that explained that actually the reason for your symptoms was that you had amalgam fillings and mercury poisoning. Is there anything that you would think of that would actually account for your symptoms before the amalgam removal and for the improvement after the removal of the amalgam?
Well, I mean, I never even entered my head mercury poisoning. I've had two fairly large, or at least one fairly large amalgam filling up here, both, but one was larger than the other. And I never gave it a thought because the other mercury fillings that I had in the bottom, they were removed. And when I went to see Dr. Jones, he just said, I think you've got mercury poisoning and I want you to do some tests, which are saliva tests and many tests. And it came back that my mercury was exceedingly high. And then that was the start of it. But nobody's ever mentioned it. Never even mentioned, not one dentist, not one doctor, until I eventually came to see Dr. Jones and then on to see you.
So are you sure in your own mind that all your symptoms were due to mercury in the first place and the improvement was due to the removal of the...
Oh, without any doubt, because it was so quite dramatic, actually, the improvement. I have to say the leaky gut took quite some time to clear.
The leaky gut is caused by the mercury poisoning anyway.
That's right. And I was explained, the rightful thing is that when I went to see the doctor, he said the mercury has killed off your antibodies, your own antibodies. The yeast has moved in. So the main cause that I've had was the yeast problem, and of course caused by the mercury, and it might have been caused by antibiotics, but then I had thrush, which was caused by the mercury, which antibiotics made it worse. And by removing my own...
Caused by the candida that is encouraged to grow by the mercury.
And what the normal doctors try to help you is they give you antibiotics, which is just the reverse of what you need.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yes, because there's nothing else they can do. They just don't seem to have that mind that will say, let's look into, are there any problems? Is the body being poisoned by something?
Yeah.
And so the huge improvement immediately. Oh yes, I've never felt tired like I did then. The thrush took a little while to clear, but not that long. Probably 6 weeks after having them removed, which was excellent. The leaky gut's taken longer because it just. I think that I really have to keep to a really strict diet to make sure I clear away all the yeast.
Yeah, you should stop being naughty, yeah?
Yes, that's right. But I used to have a stiff neck all the time. All the time. I used to have to sleep with my hand under my neck like this, my hand here. I couldn't fly because of being rigid in position for hours on end. I didn't want to fly anywhere, didn't want to have a holiday. You know, my life was just closing down, just totally closing down because I didn't. And when I had this bad nerve in my leg, I gave up my business. So it really did ruin my life, yes. And now I feel...
About the pain in your leg. You remember when I saw you, I said I don't know whether that will reverse after the amalgam removal. I said that because I didn't know whether it was related or not to the... What would you say? Would you say it's related to the... Would you say it's really improved? Because you were trying to have several treatments for that.
Yes.
Would you say that the amalgam removal is the main contributor to the improvement in the leg?
I actually would. I think I had a back operation, and that, because I was so bad, I'd say it's 100%, I was dreadful. Had the back operation, and he said it should have been 95% improvement. Well, it wasn't. It was about 60% improvement. And
you had trapped nerve, yeah?
Yes, trapped nerve. So he actually cleared the bone for the trapped nerve, and he said the nerve itself was squashed and it should clear. But if it doesn't help within a year, then you won't have any benefits.
When did you have the operation?
I had the operation 3 years ago.
Oh, right, okay.
And it was so bad, so
So a year after, which is the date that he said, if it doesn't improve after 1 year, then...
And it's not going to improve. And I went back to him and said, could I have another operation? Maybe it's grown back again, because he said there was a chance it could grow back and squash the nerve again. And he said, no. I had another MRI scan. He said, no, there's nothing here. There's no reason why the nerve is damaged, and it will probably stay damaged, and you're going to have to live with it. Goodbye. And I have to say, even today, as I'm walking around, I'm not thinking of how painful the nerve is in. So much so, I'm not saying it's 100% completely gone, but I would say now it's down to between 5% and 20%, which I can cope with. I can cope with. It's not in my mind all the time, because when I used to talk to people, I could hardly cope with talking to them because the pain in my leg was so bad.
Well, hardly anybody actually is free from pain sometime or another.
Yes.
So this is great. I mean, I'm very pleased for that, really.
Well, my body is, I feel my body's improved so much, and my muscle tone, I can now walk. I can now go along the beach, I can walk, I can step it out. So I'm getting fresh air, I'm getting my muscles toned up. I seemed to, my whole body was closing down. You know, I wasn't going, I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to sleep all day, I had headaches all the time, I didn't want to socialise, and I didn't even want to stand up and take phone calls. And my friends used to, I didn't tell them I was in a lot of pain. But how can you keep saying to people, I've got a stiff neck, I've got a headache, I can't go out, I don't want to do this? And in the end I felt my social life was dwindling, and I didn't even want to take the phone calls. I was that bad.
Yeah. You also told me that you had some mood swings, you know, and you were a bit moody and so on.
Well, very irritable, and I think being in pain and being stiff necks and headaches, and I'm just uncomfortable. I think you would be.
And are you still moody, do you think?
No. No, because there's light.
Is that what your husband is saying, or
No, I think there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I think when you get so
you feel more relaxed now?
Yeah, yes.
Less depressed?
Oh yeah, less depressed.
How much less depressed?
Huge, because I've got a life back. I can walk down the road, I can shop, I can carry my shopping. I can occasionally go out to eat, which I like. I'm trying to still eat a good food if I can at home. Obviously it makes you... I never want to eat tuna, I don't want to eat anything with mercury again, I don't want to put anything in my body that is going to damage me like it did.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned that you had tightness in the throat.
Oh yes.
You've forgotten about
it. Yes. Yes. It was round my Adam's apple, as if somebody was gripping my Adam's apple. And it was hard to swallow. Spasm, sort of. Yes, I don't know what. Yes, I don't know what there was, but yes, I had that a lot, on and off, on and off. I've completely forgotten about that. I haven't had that for 6 months, 8 months.
That's great.
Yes.
What about your level of concentration?
My liver, well, I'm not black under my eyes. I can wake up now, and my eyes, I never use any drops in my eyes, and I'm always saying to my husband, how do my eyes look? Are they brighter? And he said, yes, I have taken milk thistle to help.
Well, he has to say that, don't he?
Oh no, he used to say, we used to look in the mirror together, and I used to look so ill. And he drinks, he doesn't smoke, but he drinks, but he works out. Well, I've been too ill to work out, too tired to work out.
Yeah.
And so he would put his face against mine and look in the mirror and go, what a shame. I mean, and I used to be white with black around my eyes, and now that has gone.
You were crying and emotional all the time?
Oh, yes, well, I think when you feel you don't want to go abroad and have a holiday, when you feel you don't want to go out with your friends.
But to the depression, I suppose?
It's just that it seems like, and the pain in my leg was so bad that you just, you don't want to go on. I did actually think of suicide. That's the truth. I did once think, I can't take this pain anymore, I have to admit. But I only just thought about it very quickly one evening when I was so depressed. And then I read a book as well, after seeing Dr Dinty Jones and after seeing you, I read a book and it said, the first thing you must do not go to your GP. That's the first thing you must do. If you feel so ill, and it's candida, it was, are you irritable? Do you have bowel syndrome? Because I was constipated. Sometimes I didn't go 2 or 3 days. And I would have to take a laxative, and then it would be bad, and so on and so forth. And so I just read this book, and it said, don't go to your doctors. And of course, by that time...
The book is about what?
Candida.
About candida.
Yes.
Unfortunately, doctors don't know about this, don't know enough about that, unfortunately. Okay, you told me also that you couldn't get warm.
No, that's true. No, I don't think about that anymore. So that's something I don't think about anymore. Yes.
Are you able to get warm now in cold weather and so on?
Oh yes, yes.
Mm.
Most certainly, yeah. In fact, sometimes I think, well, I'm a bit hot. No, I don't even think I've forgotten all those. I've forgotten a lot of the symptoms I had.
Yeah, this is something we notice with
Yes.
many people, that they can't get warm in cold weather.
Yeah.
It was always cold hands and
Yes.
cold feet and so on.
Oh, I've always hated air conditioning.
Mm.
And for many years, I didn't want to go to Florida because everywhere you go it's air conditioning. I'd rather go to the Caribbean where it's not. They don't. They just have a fan or something. And eating outside is much better. Than I can't bear air conditioning being cold.
Yeah, that's because of the, that's actually probably the vascular effects of the mercury on the blood vessels themselves.
Oh, and I did have palpitations. And I think sometimes they think, was I drinking too much tea? But that's something that has certainly gone. I remember having palpitations quite badly, but I don't have that anymore. But then my diet has improved.
Yeah, the palpitations, well, I had that too, but actually the palpitations, I think, might also be related to food allergy.
Oh, yes.
So that's another reason for being strict with... I had that myself. What about your hair and your skin?
Oh, my hair, my hair. I think I would have lost half of my hair, and it was everywhere. It was in the car, it was in the bed, it was on my clothes, it was everywhere, all the time. I mean, I could sit now and I would be all over, and it was just amazing. And that stopped. Then for some reason it thickened up. Then I lost a little bit again for about 2 months, and now it's completely thickened up again. Amazing amount. So it's it's everywhere.
I can speaking from memory, I think you probably have double the amount of hair that you had when I saw you the first time.
Yes, but I couldn't believe, because I always used to have very thick hair, and to lose it and to hold it back in a ponytail, and it was about that thin. It was awful. So yes, I have to say, big improvement, huge improvement with my hair.
Great. What about your nails? Did you have any problem with your nails? You didn't report anything.
I did have fungus. I used to have the lady putting some nail hardener on, and she said, "Oh, you've got fungus under this one. I won't put any nail hardener on." She said, "What you want to do is go and get some Caniston, and put that under the nail." So I did that, and it cleared it, but then it came back and came back and came back, and then I noticed I had on my left foot, on my big toe, and that was starting to discolour, and I noticed the small nails, the nails on my small toes of my feet, and the next, almost black, brown, ugly, really ugly, and so much so that the nail would almost go into the skin. The actual toe and the nail was just repulsive. It was just not like a proper nail. It wasn't white. And now I do truly have white nails on my toenails. They are white. All the fungus has gone on that left one. I only had it on one nail, but it wouldn't clear. And
with treatment or without treatment?
Oh, without treatment on the nail. Treatment
on the toes.
On the toe, yes. But the nail, I did put the
yeah, because the nail was before you had the removed.
Yes,
is that right?
yes, that's right.
But the toenails
was after, and I just
and that cleared by itself without any
Yes.
antifungal treatment.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, and I can truly say my toenails are so sweet that there's only on my right hand side the small little tiny right hand, the very small one, that's the last one, and I know as the months pass that will get better, because the rest are actually white, pink and white. And when I look at my friends' feet, I can't believe. I say to them, you've got fungus under that. Yes, I know, what should I use it? I say, where do you start? You have to start. I say, have you got mercury? Have you got candida? Have you got fungus? And it's so hard to start telling people right from the word go, you've got a long haul ahead of you. But, the first thing is, look in your mouth, just get rid of the mercury. And have lovely little toenails like I've got now.
The bloatedness, how is it responding? Of course, you're on a strict diet now.
A very strict diet, so I don't have anything. And within 3 days of coming off wheat, that really did help. And I looked 10 years younger just coming off wheat.
Your allergies are what? Your food allergies are
Yes.
what? Wheat and what else?
Dairy. Well, the thing is, at the moment, I'm trying to go back to just all organic vegetables. I just feel safe. You know, if I have dairy, I still occasionally get a sinus across here, slightly bloated. I can occasionally have
So slightly bloated in your tummy?
No, around my eyes.
Oh, around your eyes?
Around my eyes, yes. Occasionally, but I really don't have very much wheat. I really don't. If I go out to eat, I ask them, please don't give me any gravy. And if there's anything, I don't want any cream in my soup. If I eat out, I try to eat.
Yeah, we need to be strict about that for a while.
Yeah,
and then it will clear.
Yes, and I have lost weight because I'm on such a strict diet, but it's a healthy diet and it's healthy, and I feel full of energy. So I don't want cheese. I don't want to clog my system up. You know, occasionally I'm naughty and have a biscuit, but it's very, very rare.
What happens when you have a biscuit?
Sinus comes back and round my eyes. Yes.
Well, you still have your food allergy. I think you need a bit more discipline.
Yes, I know. Yes.
Well, there are a lot of people out there. In fact, almost 999 out of every 1,000 dentists and doctors who would say that amalgam and mercury doesn't do any harm to anybody. What would you say about that?
Well, it's all I'm just living proof. Living proof that without any doubt, mercury, without any doubt, seeps into your system. It kills off your own antibodies, and then you're in trouble, big trouble. You head right the way down.
It has far more pervasive effects than just killing the antibodies.
I would say the bottom line is the worst thing that mercury must do is make you so low that in comes candida. And then when you start having yeast travels all over the body and it eats into the brain, it eats into the gut, then you can't digest your food, you can't get your vitamins, and you're heading for cancer. Truly. I mean, I truly believe that's where you're heading.
Well, we don't have direct evidence for that, so we can't really claim it.
No.
But of course it's an apprehension, it's a valid apprehension that has to be taken into consideration. But I wouldn't worry too much about this possibility.
But I'm certainly heading the reverse way from being ill.
Yeah.
Totally the reverse way, because if you have a leaky gut and you're not digesting your food and you're not taking in your vitamins, it's only a matter of time before you become really gravely ill. And I knew I was on the way. I was well on the way.
You were very ill when I first saw you.
Yes.
And I'm happy to say that you actually made quick progress. How quickly after the amalgam removal? We removed the amalgam all in one go under sedation?
6 weeks that the thrush, and note I'd had thrush for years, probably non-stop, 4 years, non-stop. I used so much of the creams and the pessaries, and then the stuff that you swallowed that cleared your body. It kept coming back and back and back and back and forth to the doctor. Within 6 weeks that cleared, and that for me was the biggest thing. And then I noticed, oh, my hair's not dropping out anymore. Oh, it's growing back. I noticed that, and of course as you then say, what about the tightness? I'd forgotten all about that. It's all those things, and not having headaches anymore. And I can see when I get up in the morning, my face is pink. My eyes are black underneath. My actual whites of my eyes sometimes are gleaming white, so my liver isn't suffering anymore. And well, within 6 weeks, there's a huge improvement. And then because I was careful with my diet, and of course I had to put back, by having my diet, I had to try and put my body back to the goodness it should have had before the mercury wrecked it.
Most people say that you get worse after the amalgam removal. Did you get worse after the amalgam removal?
No, I didn't, no, and I read a book that said I would. And when you have mercury removed, it gets into your system, it does this and this. No, not at all. And I was expecting to have what you call like a die-off or whatever it was, something. I was expecting, and nothing, absolutely nothing, no.
You started improving soon after, or you started noticing 6 weeks after? It
was almost like, yes. I think probably because I was on a really, really, really strict diet before, 6 months before I had the mercury removed, that certainly helped me.
Of course.
That did help. I mean, when I say strict, it was only organic vegetables. There was nothing else. I lost a stone in weight, but I cut out everything that damaged me. And then I started having herbs and vitamins. But I knew I'm not going to improve. And in fact, and this is really, really, really important.
You're not going to improve beyond that level.
Yeah, but and this is really important because this I was almost cross about, but now I know I understand. I went to Dr Jones and he said, what we do is before we take the mercury out of your, eliminate the mercury that's in your body. It's in your saliva, it's in your blood, it's all over. All right, it's mostly in your saliva. We try to take that down before you have the mercury out, because when you have the mercury taken out, it can be worse, and we don't want to overload your body.
Well, that's the common view.
Yeah, that's the common view.
Of course, we don't share it, but that's the common view.
And that's what I was told. So for 6 months, my mercury levels were something like 600, what have you. Within 6 months, I was on the diet, I was taking the detox of mercury. 6 months later, my mercury level was up to 2,156, whatever. It was hugely. I had more mercury in my system.
By trying to detox before the amalgam removal?
Yes, yes. So by taking this mercury detox, it was pulling the mercury, must have been, it was drawing it away from my body, but it was pulling it into my body.
That's a very intelligent remark.
Yes, and I've got the stuff to prove it. I had my test when I first went there. It was 600, which it should only be
three times as much increase.
And then 6 months later, it was 2,000.
Yeah, 3 times as much increase.
And
more than that.
Yeah, Dr. Jones, he said, he did warn me, sometimes it happens like this. And then, of course, it's the most common sense, isn't it? If you're detoxing your body from something and it's still in your body, it is going to keep drawing it from your teeth. And as soon as, and this is the best thing, so I had the mercury removed and I can't remember how long. I think it was something, the same time I came back to see you, I saw Dr. Jones, and then I had to have the mercury test. So within 6 weeks to 3 months, my mercury level, all right, after having the mercury removed and then taking the mercury stuff to detox, when all the mercury is out of my mouth, I was down to 150. From 2,156 down to 150.
That's great. Of course, you know that it takes about a year and a half to get all the mercury from the body.
I'm still taking mercury detox.
Yeah, very good, very good. Well, that's really very, very great, and thank you very much for giving this interview.
Well, thank you very much for everything.
My pleasure.
For my life back. Thank you. Thank you.
That's great. Well, hoping to get better and better and better.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And hoping to be able to save other people too, because there's so many people who don't know about this.
Yes, and even an incredible doctor, because I think Dr. Jones is.
Yeah.
Even he has changed his mind that he now will not detox people before he will get the mercury removed, because what is the point of taking the chance of, taking the chance of detoxing first? Just get the mercury out, then
yes,
detox.
that is the best way is to dry the big pool that is supplying the mercury to the body.
Because when you removed my mercury, I didn't have any side effects, then he can change his mind, because his view was the mercury goes back into your system.
Well, it's based on the sort of common view.
Yes, well, that is not the case.
Yeah.
So now he realises that, and he will change his practice and his thoughts about that. Yes.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. You've given me this interview to make it available for other people to see and to benefit from, and to help people who were or are in your who are currently in the position that you were in, and hoping to improve people's lives.
Yes, almost certainly.
Well,
certainly my life is back. I have a life now. Thank you to you.
Thank you very much.